A little late to the thread, but I used to live in Egypt. One night after a soccer game I split a cab back to my apartment with these two Egyptian guys. Both really nice, one of them spoke great English. On the way home I am practicing my Arabic on them and they are helping me out. Well, our conversation turned a little risque and we started talking about hashish, drugs, etc. The driver eventually picked up on our conversation and says, "You want hashish? I know good place and good prices." Without waiting for a response, he veers off the overpass and into a residential neighborhood. Over the protests of myself and my companions, we all professed to liking hash, but not enough to buy off a cab driver in Egypt, where you can get executed for possession. He continued to drive us deep into East Cairo. We stop at the dimly lit warehouse. Dirt road, animals, trash everywhere. He turns off the car and insists we come inside. Despite our frantic protests, he persists. Finally, someone comes out of the warehouse to greet us. This man speaks English and is much less imposing than the cab driver. We reluctantly follow him into a small room, which seemed to serve as living quarters for him and his family. After the obligatory greetings and introductions, his wife brings in tea. We are all considerably calmer now. I begin to suspect that the cab driver was confused and merely took us to meet a friend. This wouldn't have been the first time. Anyways, after about 20 minutes, he stops mid-sentence and says, "So, hashish?" Before we could respond he stands us up and directs us into a hallway. He led us through one of the doors into a very large storage room. He flips on the lights. Right in front of us, one end the room of is a metric ton of hash, broken into bricks and arranged into a long rectangle. He informed us that this was a metric ton. Around the warehouse, flags of the Arab world adorn the walls, but front and center, above the hash consignment, is a Hezbollah flag. He asked us how much we wanted. One of the Egyptians broke in and said 1/2 a kilo. The guy walks over and tears off a generous ½ kilo and puts it into a paper bag. Charges us $1.50. Thanks us and escorts us out of the warehouse. The cab driver is waiting for us and has a pipe. We decide everything went better than expected and smoke hash with the cab driver. He takes us back to our neighborhood and we pay him about $10. The Egyptians and I breathe a huge sigh of relief, exchange numbers, and continue to smoke that ½ kilo for the next 3 months. We're still good friends today. Jasper, Alberta, Canada. Parents, grandparents and 7-year-old me are walking along a trail when we come to a fork in the road. My dad, knowing the trail would loop back to the other fork, let me decide which fork to take. We go left, on the smaller narrower trail. As we continued walking we started seeing little red droppings on the trail. Berry-based probably. A tree across the trail has been recently shredded by something. An important detail at this point is that we are in single file with my father at head of the group a little ways up. He walked up a small hill and just stopped. He stopped in such a fashion and everyone else just stopped right away. He then slowly said, "Dad, Grandpa, take everyone and slowly go back down the trail. I'll be there shortly." It wasn't said as a request. It was a command. Everyone just turned around and went. About 5 minutes later my dad met us back along the trail and explained what he'd seen over the hill. When he came over the hill there was a mama grizzly up on her hind legs sniffing the air on the right-hand side of the trail, looking straight at him. On the left-hand side of the trail were her cubs. For those of you that don't know, splitting up mama and cubs is not a good idea. She sniffed for a while longer, the cubs took off over to her and they left. Dad breathed a sigh of relief and walked back down to meet us.